Philosophy is, quite simply, the contemplation and study of the fundamental questions of the universe and human nature. It focuses more on asking questions than answering them, though. And the Greeks played such a huge role in the development of this concept, philosophy, that the very word for it means love of wisdom in Greek. Now, Ionia, the main origin point of pre-Socratic philosophy, was located in an ideal place. Here you see Ionia. Now, to the south, there were the Egyptians. To the east, the Persian, Mesopotamians. And it was Ionia's crucial spot on a trade route between the Western world and the East that made it a veritable melting pot of people, goods, commodities, and most importantly, ideas.
Because they lived on the coast of Asia Minor, Ionians were able to frequently communicate with other cities from Egypt, Persia, and Mesopotamia for trade. These frequent interactions between differing cultures have influenced the Greeks to think about the world with a more broad perspective, so the concept of philosophy was kept in mind. It could be said that Thales had created the essence of philosophy. One of the great seven sages of the ancient era, Thales was also the first natural philosopher, contributing the recurring idea of unchanging laws governing the universe. Thales was also the creator of the first great Greek school of philosophy, which taught many other pre-Socratic philosophers of his time. Anaximander was one of Thales' more prominently known students from his school of philosophy. The most well-known contributions that Anaximander had to ancient philosophy was his idea of apeiron and paired opposites. The idea behind apeiron was that everything is made up of this substance and that everything returns to this form based off of necessity. This idea also generated the idea of paired opposites, giving the notion of hot and cold or dry and wet.
Now, Anaximenes was another student of Thales' great school of philosophy in Miletus. He subscribed to the belief by constant and immutable laws that behaved completely regularly. But to that, he added the theory that all of creation was composed of just air. And that air was condensed and rarefied into the shapes that we know.
Pythagoras was an ancient Greek philosopher whose legacy is handed down to us in the form of the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras believed that all the laws of nature could be explained in numbers and developed a religion around the scientific understanding of mathematics.
This philosopher from Samos led the Italiate half of pre-Socratic philosophy and sparked interest for others in studying mathematics and musical harmony. Xenophanes originated in Ionia. Besides a philosopher, he was a poet who would often criticize the works of others. One of his most important ideas was why gods appeared in human form. Xenophanes argued that gods were only in human form because that's how the people perceived them.
His argument first showed that philosophy and religion are no way mutually exclusive. Both are understanding. Xenophanes said that human perception of the gods was all that made them human. In his view, gods were very different from humankind.
While the individual Greek schools of philosophy differed, in general, Greek philosophers taught their ideas to like-minded intellectuals who shared their eagerness to think and learn. Teaching sessions occurred outside in public spaces. Sometimes they occurred privately in homes when philosophers were employed as tutors. Groups of philosophers who shared and built off of each other's ideas formed schools, though they were not educational facilities in the modern sense.
That's Earth is made of individual, indivisible parts that are naked to the human eye. But this is very important as it makes up our entire world. It's important to study this small material so we can better understand our world and our environments.
In philosophy and religion, there is a clear difference in purpose. Philosophy probes the nature of knowledge and the mind and is primarily asking questions. Religion, in broad terms, is one's relationship with divinity and concerns morality, human nature, and the meaning of existence. Western civilization draws on its heritage from both the philosophy of ancient Greece and the Judeo-Christian religious culture of the Near East. But these belief systems have become divided in modern thought.
Now you see, the greatest gift of Greek philosophy to Western civilization would have to be the principle of rationalism. Because the great pre-Socratic philosophers were the first to realize that every great problem of the universe can be discovered just with the finite capacity of the human mind and the logic and reasoning ability contained within. Now this went strongly against the polytheistic mysticism of the time period, But to this day, it is the very underpinning of the scientific method.
Philosophy began the idea of rationalism, critical to later Western thought. Epistemology delved into the nature of knowledge and consciousness. The understanding of nature and oneself was the essence of pre-Socratic thought, and it remains central to our minds today.
Philosophy was the beginning of what Western society is based upon today. The simple thought of having a question led to numerous inventions and discoveries impacting not only the Greeks, but every culture.
Now, you see, without Greek philosophy, subjects such as mathematics, science, art, astronomy, etc. would never have been born, or at the very least, they would have taken radically different courses. I mean, we could have remained in the Dark Ages of superstition and fear without the Enlightenment brought about by the Greeks.
In conclusion, philosophy is what created modern thinking and our modern world today. It's pretty important.